What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports. We're going to give you our early thoughts on the Texas A&M Aggies for the upcoming 2024 college football season. Will this team be better or worse than they were in 2023? I still feel like this team was so close. I felt like they were maybe a year away, and maybe they should have given Jimbo one more year, because you saw the progress. Connor Wigman goes down with the injury, and that kind of messed things up for them this past season. But I really felt like they were maybe a year away from taking that big jump, and it's not going to happen in that way, because Jimbo Fisher is gone. A lot of the players are gone, and this is almost like evaluating Colorado from last year, because they have so many transfers, over 20 players leaving, over 20 players coming in. It's just going to be a totally different team. Mike Elko takes over, and you feel pretty good about him as the head coach. I think that he is a guy that has proven he can get it done. If you look at what he did at Duke, pretty much right away made them a lot better. So you feel good about him as the head coach. Is it going to take some time? I mean, what's this team really going to look like? I'm going to do my best to give some early thoughts here, but it would take a long time to really go through all the roster movement here, and there's probably going to be more. Probably more before all is said and done. But you start with the quarterback position, getting Connor Wigman back healthy. That's going to be the key. I'm telling you, this team with him in there was pretty good last year, and maybe they beat Alabama if he's still in there. I don't know. It's a team that, again, showed signs last year, and they were close, and they're going to have a really good running back room. Amari Daniels is back. Reuben Owens is back. Le'Veon Moss is also back, and they bring in E.J. Smith, transfer from Stanford. So you've got a really, really good group of running backs. Sneaky good. I mean, this is one of the best groups in the country as far as a unit, if they all stick around. And so that's the good news. They should be able to run the football. The offensive line looks like it's going to be pretty good. They've got a lot of talent there. So this is definitely a team that I think is going to be run first. They're going to miss Evan Stewart, obviously, at wide receiver. They're going to miss Aniyah Smith. They're do it all wide receiver. They're going to miss Max Wright at tight end and Jake Johnson at tight end. They're going to miss some of these pass catchers. That's probably the biggest area, definitely the biggest area on offense that I would be a little bit concerned about. They didn't add a whole lot really in the transfer portal there, and so that is definitely an area where I'm a bit concerned if I'm a Texas A&M fan. Who's going to catch the football? And so with a great run game, I just don't see them leaning on the pass too much. I really don't. I think it's going to be a run-first team. But because of that offensive line, because of this group of running backs, and because of really just getting Connor Wigman back at quarterback, I think they're going to be better offensively. I really do. I think that this will be one of the best rushing attacks in the country. You look at some of the offenses there at Duke under Mike Elko, and those teams are pretty good at running the football. So we'll see. But again, it's very early. I really don't know for sure what to expect. But I think offensively, this team is actually going to be a little bit better this upcoming season. Maybe not quite as explosive, but I do think they'll be better. And then now we're going to talk about the defensive side. And this is an area where, they have stockpiled so much talent. They've had these great recruiting classes. They're going to miss some really good players. A lot of guys enter the transfer portal. Walter Nolan is gone. That's a big loss. McKinley Jackson, he is gone off to the NFL. So they had some really good players that are going to be gone, but they have a lot of young talent on the defensive line. And again, they've added players in the transfer portal. They added some edge rushers in there. And again, I'm not going to go through all the names. They just added so many players. But it's a defensive line that should be pretty good. You look at the linebackers. Edgerrin Cooper, he's off to the NFL. He was fantastic for them. They're going to miss him. But as a group, in terms of numbers, they really don't lose much. Geronte Davis, he entered the transfer portal. And then you look at some guys that they brought in. They brought in Scooby Williams from Florida and a couple of other guys. So you look at the linebacker position, it should be pretty good, I guess. No superstar maybe at that linebacker spot. Who could be that next guy to emerge? Perhaps, a Tarian York or a player like that could help them out. But that's going to be a pretty solid spot, but nothing great. And then you go to the secondary. They're going to lose several players there to the transfer portal. And They're also going to lose Damani Richardson to the NFL draft. Bryce Anderson at safety, he's going to be back. So overall, secondary looks pretty solid. Jacoby Matthews will be back at corner, or at safety, I should say. And so, yeah, they lose some players. They add some players in the portal, and that's really the story across the board. I was kind of back and forth on this team on defense, so I think they're going to be better or worse. I think it's going to be about the same. I'll say that they'll be a little bit worse defensively, but not much. Again, you lose some really, really good players, some superstar caliber players, and it's going to be harder to replace those players. But as a unit, this defense should still be very solid. Maybe not a top 10 defense, but a top 25 defense. And so, yeah, I think they're going to be fine there. And so, overall for Texas A&M, will this team be better? Will they be worse? It's tough to say. Again, I felt like early on, before Wigman went down with the injury, this was a team that was going to be a top 25 team. And if you look at the way they played the rest of the year, they didn't really look like a top 25 team. So this one's tough for me, but I'm going to say I actually think they're going to be better. Just a gut feeling. Again, it's hard to really judge this team right now, but I believe in Mike Elko. I think they've got enough pieces there. They've done enough in the transfer portal to where this Aggie team can actually be a little bit better in 2024. And I think the future is still pretty bright here with Mike Elko as head coach. I think he's going to do a good job. And if he can recruit like they have done in the past and put it all together, maybe the Aggies can get back to contending in the SEC. But yeah, I think they're going to be a little bit better. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Give me your thoughts on the Aggies down in the comments below.